Aloha everybody, welcome to Spirit Chat Live, and if you're joining me, I want you to go ahead and comment below so that I know you're here, and just give me a hey, heads up, or whatever. I'm going to be looking at the Facebook group just to make sure it's streaming live and that I have my questions ready for you guys. So okay, so it looks like we are doing okay. I want to welcome a lot of you to the group. What this is it's a question and answer session where I can go ahead and answer questions live for you guys that you have. I've had a few questions from the newer people in the group today, which is people are wondering, like, if I'm new and I'm trying to raise my vibration, what do I do? Like, where do I start? And that is a very good question. The first thing that you want to do is you want to sort of read and discover what your abilities are, and basically read anything that you can read on the subject and learn about anything that you can learn. And once you've read as much material as you basically can, and you've learned and developed on or like through podcasting or whatever it is that interests you, then the next step is really to take classes. You want to always be educating yourself if you're wondering about, intuition, psychic ability, your spiritual journey, raising your vibration, etc., etc. So that is something that's really important when you're first starting on your spiritual journey, is just be a sponge and just consume as much information as you can. The other thing on that is you don't want to consume all information. That's really important. You want to only consume the information that resonates with you in your chest or your tummy area. You don't want to consume all the information as fact, because some things will not resonate with you, and for any of those things you want to just go ahead and disregard them and just sponge up all the information that you find is helpful or resonates with you in the chest or the tummy area. That's really important when you're on your spiritual journey. That being said, I'm ready for some questions for you guys. If you could go ahead and I'm going to be checking here to see if I have any questions from the group, because there was a few ones that I did want to address here. So give me a minute to see. But go ahead and post your questions below. This is like the time to go ahead and ask questions. We had, hi Kirsten, how are you? We had, let me see, I'm going to go back. I did do a radio show today. I just wanted to let you guys know it's going to be coming up, so I'm not going to cover that a lot. Hold on one second. Okay, and one of the things that I posted this week was on raising your vibration. People, hi Susie, good to see you. People had a lot of questions about raising your vibration. I did a post on that because I have found over the years that a lot of people think that they have physical ailments and when they're raising their vibration. But there is another thing that I wanted to discuss after we go through the physical ailments, and that was somebody that was talking about their friends or family and disconnecting from them as they've been raising their vibration. So there's a lot of things that happen when you raise your vibration, and forgive me, I'm looking at my screen here, but there's a lot of physical things that happen as far like feeling dizzy, burning hot spots all over your body, the prickly feeling lethargic, which I think I might have spelled wrong, feeling out of body, sensation in the back of the neck. There's a lot of physical things that will happen when you are actually raising your vibration. And then it is important to go to the doctor if you're not feeling right. However, it is also very common for people to go to the doctor with these types of symptoms and have their doctor going, what are you talking about? I have no idea. Like, there's nothing wrong with you, or leaving you, having you feel discouraged when you leave because you don't have any idea what might be wrong with you and you don't know how to fix it. And that's why I made the post, because when you are on a spiritual journey and your vibration begins to raise, these sorts of physical things can happen. Another thing, and I think I was pretty self-explanatory on the physical things. But I did have, and keep your questions coming. I know Kristen asked one and Libby asked one, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But there was another question in here which I wanted to find by Christine Matthews, and I thought that this was a really good one, so I wanted to elaborate on this a little bit more. When you begin to develop your senses, say a prayer of protection, does this also repel people with lower vibrations? After reading Energy Vampires and learning more about this, I've actually found myself distanced from certain family and friends that have been a part of my life for years. Has this happened to others, or is it me that's causing the distance? That is a very natural thing when you are beginning to raise your vibration, like we were talking about. You can have physical symptoms, but then you can also have things that happen with family, friends, people who you've known for a very long time. How that works is, I guess the old saying is like attracts like type of thing, or how I explain that is, and I talked about this in my radio show today, is everybody's energy. So when you vibrate, you either pull in and attract like a magnet, or you repel like a magnet. And so if you were like, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, that you vibrated at maybe a 4 for a really long time, 10 being the highest, and then you start looking into your spiritual journey and developing, and when you develop, that your vibration raises to like maybe a 6 or something. Some of those people who are around you and in your life, you're no longer going to match vibrations, and that will begin to make people feel uncomfortable who are around you, and sometimes you can feel uncomfortable being around them anymore. So it's not necessarily an I don't like you type of thing. In fact, a lot of people can't even put their finger on it. They're just like, I'm not loving hanging out with this person anymore. So your friends and family may distance themselves from you. You may distance yourself from them, and you guys may not have like a conscious decision of I don't want to be around these people anymore. It's just you kind of drift apart, and that's really, really common and supernatural, because you will tend to migrate and be more comfortable around people who match your vibration. And I think that that's why this group is kind of really popular too, is a lot of people are raising their vibration so they can feel a very positive, nice, energetic vibe that they feel like they match with. And so it's very comfortable in this group for a lot of people who are raising their vibration. So that is super, super important. And I'm glad, keep asking questions, guys, because I'm going to start getting to that. So hopefully that answered your question, Christine. And for those of you who are on this journey, you will lose touch or not have so much in common anymore with those people. And it's not just a common interest thing. It's an energetic thing. And it's okay. You can still be friends with them. You can still be close with them. But you may not just feel like you want to hang out, or they might not feel that way about you. Maybe they drift apart from you and you start feeling like, what did I do? What you did was you raised your vibration and they did not. And you no longer match. So hopefully that makes sense. Kristen says, I was wondering what it meant when I closed my eyes while hugging my boyfriend and saw blue. So that is just an aura color that you're seeing when you hug your boyfriend, and you're feeling and seeing his aura when you hug him. So that's really cool. Kristen, you might actually notice maybe you should hug other people, like in your family or something, and see what aura colors that they have. That's not a super common thing, but it can happen. So that's really cool. You're seeing his aura. And Libby says, I'm about to make a huge leap of faith. Am I doing the right thing? Libby, unfortunately, that's a reading question, and we don't do those in the group. So that would be something that you would have to schedule a reading for. Charmaine says, I love being a perpetual student. I feel like I'm always in learning mode, possibly to detriment. Lately, I have exhausted all education funds and would like your opinion on modalities that don't cost anything. Well, I don't know about other people's, I guess, funds or different things, but I do know that I do a lot of this. I'm sure that other people do a lot of this, but there's other ways to educate yourself. And that was a really good question, Charmaine, is you can educate yourself if you're wanting to learn about spiritual development, is what I'm assuming you're talking about. There are podcasts that you can do. There are webinars that you can do that people offer for free. There are I just ran a book for free and one for 99 cents. The one that I ran for 99 cents, Keys to the Spirit World, actually, I think it's still 99 cents. That one's been hugely successful and people have been really interested in that. Like I said, podcasts, articles, you can search the web. I offer a lot of that on my website. I do tons of articles. I'm getting ready to post another article today. I just recorded another podcast today. I think I have like 93 podcasts. If you haven't gone through my podcasts, it might be something that you're interested in. You can go to my keys-to-the-spirit-world.com and find those podcasts, and that'll keep you busy for a little while. But there's always a lot of good information out there that's free. The thing is, I cannot stress this enough. Some people do teach things that may not resonate with you, and that doesn't mean that necessarily they're not good people or have bad intentions. It might mean that they are teaching something that just doesn't resonate with you. So learn podcasts, free articles. You can just sponge up so many things off the internet, but make sure it resonates with you here. And you're like, oh yeah, this makes sense. That feels good to me. I'm enjoying this content. And make sure that leaves you with a nice, good, peaceful feeling. If you start reading stuff or listening to stuff that doesn't leave you with a really nice, I feel good about what I'm learning, feeling, and you start feeling afraid, fearful, scared, confused, steer away from that information or whatever person is giving that information. Just steer clear of that and move on to something else. There's really a lot of good content out there that you can get for free. And like I said, I do as much of it as I possibly can for you guys because I know everybody can't afford stuff. So I'm constantly doing blog posts, podcasts, and you can always ask questions in the group too, Charmaine. Susie says, my question is about energy vampires that are family members. If we choose to be born into the same family in our contract, how do we, sorry, I can't read this very good. How do we know that the goal has been met and fulfilled and we can move on with our lives without the stress of association? In other words, basically, how can we tell if issues we are having are not one of the goals rather than simply blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just going through that quickly. Basically, what you're wanting to know is if you have an energy vampire or that's in a family member, are you supposed to continue to try to force yourself to work through that that relationship or not? If it feels forced, unhealthy, or not good, you do not continue that unless, I don't know, I guess you're a glutton for punishment. There are ways to still be associated with family members, friends, and people who are in your life without causing you not to feel well or to feel drained or to feel not good when you're associating yourself with those people. So I guess the answer to that question, Susie, is if it's not feeling good anymore, if it's not in your highest interest and best good to have this person in your life, you have no contract to continue on with that. So you're looking at it a little bit differently, like you're supposed to go through all these horrible, trials and tribulations, and that's why we're here to learn. Yes, we are here to learn from difficulties, but it's not by beating your head against the wall because you are not happy with dealing with the same person or family member over and over again. It's not about torture. It's not about consistently exposing yourself to somebody who makes you feel crappy for 2 years. That's not what we're here for. That's not the gift or the learning or the purpose or the contract that we're here for. We're here to learn and develop. So we also are here to learn if you touch a hot stove and it's hot, you don't want to do that anymore. Same with energy vampires. That's learning, that's progressing, that's developing, and it's raising your vibration. If you do not like being around somebody and they're not feeling good and in your highest and best interest, and they don't bring out the best in you, you don't have fun with them, you're not enjoying their presence, then it's like the hot stove. Move on. Do something else. You are not obligated to this person anymore. And that is learning, that's developing, that's growth. And that is why we're here, is to learn that and to move forward. So it's not that you have to be stuck with those people. Leola says, Hi, Jennifer. When you raise your vibration and get to a certain level, is it possible that you can lose that level by not meditating? If you have to start over again, or once you reach that level is never going to go back no matter what? Okay, so basically you're saying if you raise your vibration and get to a certain level, let's say you get to a 5 or 8, 9, 10, she's asking, what if you don't continue to meditate? Will you go backwards? Or once you reach a level, will you never go below that level? That is a fantastic question. And I'm going to answer that just real quick. I got to pull this thing up. That is a fantastic question because your levels raise all the time. So your vibration will raise up and down throughout the day. It's not just going to raise up and down through your lifetime. Your vibration will go, like, you may wake up in a great mood and then drop something on your foot, and then go off to work really happy, but then you get there and your boss is really mad, and then you go out to lunch with a friend, but then you get back. Do you see what I mean? Your vibration is always doing this. It's always moving up and down. Scale of 1 to 10. It's constantly moving along this scale. The key is to, over your lifetime, try to continue how to see to keep it mostly here. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to try to keep it up near the top 10 as much as you possibly can. That's the key. So don't worry if you have a bad day, your vibration's going to go down. That's okay. The key is to recognize when you're not vibrating at a higher level, when you're not feeling really good, and to keep it up. Now, as far as your overall level of spiritual development goes, that will raise as you keep your vibration consistently high, you learn things that match that will continue to allow your spiritual growth to do this throughout a lifetime. And once you grow spiritually, it's very rare that you go back levels. So there are spiritual levels that you can actually achieve while you are here on earth, but that is also on a soul level, so it's not something you lose even when you're no longer on earth. So if you reach another spiritual level while you're here, you're not going to go backwards. It's very, very rare that you would go back. So they're two different things. You got your energetic vibration, and you're raising your vibration, and your overall spiritual level. That I think that is what your kind of question is. So yes, the more that you learn, the more you raise, you're not going to lose it because you didn't meditate, but your vibration that next day, or like say you didn't meditate for a month and you're starting to feel off kilter and off balance, then your vibration will lower, but you can always raise it again. Hopefully that makes sense. Miriam says, hi Jennifer, after starting the classes I started seeing people, but it's only with the corner of my eye, but when I turn to take a better look I don't see them anymore. Could this just be my imagination? If not, how do I make it more lasting? How do I make it more lasting, I think is your question. So basically, no, it's not your imagination. That happens often to people. Mostly especially when they're developing spiritually, a lot of times, especially with psychic development, which is what the class that you're talking about is, you've developed seeing spirits out of the corner of your eye as you've developed psychically. Very common. You will not always will you be able to develop that particular skill to see them more clear. It will depend on your level of that particular ability, one that you were born with. And so you may not always see them more clear, but I would use some of the other senses that we talked about, Miriam, the claircognizance, the clairaudience, and see what types of feelings and what types of things that you hear that can help you clarify that picture in your mind. So if you see them out of the corner of your eye, you may want to stop for a minute and allow some information to go ahead and for you to receive that information, and you may start through blocks of thought or communication. You may get a picture, a male or female presence, a color, or something like that. So you want to, at that point, you don't want to just use your visual, your clairaudience skill, your clairaudible ability, or I'm sorry, your clairvoyant ability. You want to add in your clairaudience and your claircognizance. You want to use them together as a package to help make that picture of who you're seeing clear. And it may just be in your mind's eye, but that's okay, because being able to see people visually, even if you've seen them out of the corner of your eye, and then later you want to see them more clear, as you say, the chances of most people seeing someone very clear in front of them, like I'm in front of you, that's a very rare ability, I guess I would say, even for most mediums. Most mediums get a picture in their mind. And so you just want to work with some of your other senses to get a clearer picture, if that makes sense. Carol Connor, good day, my friend. Oh, good day, my friend. Sorry, I'd read that wrong. Nice to be blessed with your presence. And Carol, that was really sweet. Thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. Joy says, hey, Jen, love the family question. Why do we have these contracts for them to all turn negative? Joy, they should not all be turning negative. And do I have to keep forgiving when someone doesn't forgive me and tells me so? Absolutely not. Do you have to keep forgiving? You know, I know that people are trained in, it's kind of, what would I say, drilled into your head that, you know, blood is thicker than water, and it's really important for you to forgive family and yada, yada, yada. But it's interesting to me when I do readings and when I'm around people, or even in some experiences I've had in my own life, that it's very comfortable for family members to treat you worse than they would somebody they don't know or a friend of theirs. So it's interesting how much people use the family connection as kind of like a pass to treat you really crappy sometimes. That doesn't mean that there's not some fantastic family members out there who would just give you the shirt off their back and be so loving and caring. But there's always the yin and the yang of that. Some people just are not happy, great people, and they, just because you're related to them doesn't give them a free pass to be not nice to you and to be ornery to you. It's not okay. So it doesn't mean that they all turn negative, number one. But it also means that, you know, when something's turning negative, not bringing out the best in you and not feeling good for you, that's when you have to distance yourself and put some energetic space between the two of you, because you guys don't really get the full effect, I don't think, of it. It comes into your energetic system. And whatever comes in and sticks to your energy system, let's say a negative person, especially for you guys who are empaths. This is really, really important for empaths. So if you're an empath or feel like you are, pay very close attention. When people have a negative energy or a negative vibe and it comes around, it kind of sticks to your energetic system. And this energetic system is what makes up your soul and your spiritual being. This sort of that dictates your vibration, it dictates your spiritual health, etc. And if you allow these people to consistently stick to your energetic with a negative vibe, or drain you of energy, your vibration is going to be pulled down, weighted down very heavily. And what will happen is it will start with you being upset or having depression or just different things like that. If you can allow your vibration to be very heavy and weighted by negative energies and like different junk in your system, and if you ignore that long enough, what actually happens, it will manifest in a physical type feeling. You may not feel well. It can develop into different, you know, you might get a cold or a flu first off, and then the next thing you might know, you could be dealing with something more serious. So Joy, it's not just, I don't want to hang out with these people, I don't like the way I feel when I'm around them. It's simply you have to take care of yourself, because if you allow them to continue to bring that vibe into your system, you will, if you don't clear yourself of it, put distance, it will start actually affecting your physical health. And so that's something to be more aware of. And you know what? More often than not, nobody else is going to look out for your health, your mental health, your spiritual well-being, or your physical health like you are. Too many people, especially if they're pessimistic, negative people, they're very, very concerned about their own being and how they feel. And so if you do anything to tick them off or to make them feel uncomfortable or angry or jealous or what have you, they're going to just lash out at you. And you know what? We just don't need that. And if you're going to learn how to be the best you can be on a spiritual level and that type of vibe, you have to learn to buffer and put space between you and those types of people. It doesn't matter if you're related to them or not related to them. It's very, very important. And so hopefully that answered that question. Kirsten says, I have a bit of a dark question, so I want to apologize about that. When a soul chooses life, does that soul know before they reincarnate that they will commit suicide? I thought of this question in one of the last live videos you did when you spoke about the chances we get throughout our lives to leave this life. We never spoke about when someone decided to end their lives and the new laws being passed for ending a person's life if they're terminal. Okay, so these are kind of two different questions in my mind. One is, it's about choosing to end your life. One is if you do it through suicide. One is if you do it through a terminal illness. We'll address the terminal illness first because that one's very easy. If you're asking because of the suffering to choose your life in a terminal illness and this person is just so sick, then that is an exit point and your contract is resolved in a way, and you guys are going to think that this probably is a little strange, but it's something that you still have your exit points, but you have actually made a contract to have the terminal illness, etc. So that was all built into your contract before that you came. Your exit points are still the same. It's okay if that happens. Now when it comes to suicide, that's a little bit different. Those people usually suffer from a mental illness. The mental illness most of the time is not really written into the contract in the way that you think it would be. Some mental illnesses are, but a lot of them are, I would say, they're, how would you say that? They're developed by some other circumstances or choices that they've made in their life to have some things happen to them to cause like a chain of events. If people end their life early on suicide stuff, a lot of times they come right back in and have to complete their contract over. So they have to do a redo. So there are ways, because there are ways that you can usually get help and prolong your contract in a suicide situation. And if those people choose not to get help, then because we're talking terminal illness is you're dying anyways and you're suffering, right? A suicide situation is you're not dying, but you have a different sort of thing that's happening with you. So with the terminal illness, the contract is completed. With a suicide, the contract is not completed. Those people have to come right back in and reincarnate pretty quickly, actually. So I hope that answers your question. It's kind of like you got out and have to redo. So if that makes sense. Melinda asks, what do you know about remote healing? That's a vague question. You might want to ask a more specific question. It works. There can be some really fantastic people that do it. I recommend it if it's something that somebody needs, but remote healing does work, but there has to be, I guess I would say, somebody really good at it. So there's people who are really good at it and people who are, that's not their gift. So you would want to find somebody very good at that gift if it's something that you were thinking of pursuing or doing. If you think you have a gift at doing it, then absolutely it's a real thing and you want to practice and learn and develop just like you would anything else. So that's why I said it's kind of like, I'm not really sure what the question is there. Elle says, is one type of meditation better than another for spiritual development, connection, silent versus guided, etc.? One type, in my specific life, I use different meditations for different things. Does that mean one type of meditation is better than another? No. Lots of meditations out there are fantastic for all different kinds of things. Meditation in general is just a good thing to do. But what I like to do is I like to use different meditations for different things. As for those of you who have taken my class, you know that I have a different, like a chi meditation, an angel meditation, a clearing meditation. I have a grounding meditation, and these are all guided meditations that I do for my class. And these are ones that I personally use. So I use different types of meditations for different things. So there's good spiritual development meditations. There's good like connect with your spirit guide type meditations. So I guess they're not necessarily better than another, but if you're looking to develop or connect in with your spirit guide, I would look for a spirit guide meditation. It's a better visual. It's more tailored to what you want to do, if that makes sense, Elle. And Angelique says, as someone who has been diagnosed with bipolar, my vibrational level seems to depend on my mood, whether I am in a depressive or manic state. I have grown and developed spiritually, but then regress. Is it possible to break the cycle of, and if so, how? I use crystal, sage, bubbles. I'm still blocked. I'm not really sure what you're talking about as far as breaking the cycle. With the bipolar stuff, I mean, of course, you want to go see your doctor and do everything that, you know, they're asking you to do. As far as medical stuff, like you want to do that whole 9 yards. As far as spiritual stuff, you want to continue to develop and make a routine of just simply living your life different as far as a spiritual aspect, and the things that you do as far as like meditation, development, exercises, spiritual exercises, that sort of thing. You just want to be consistent, and that's really important, and clearing and all of that. And then plus, if you were going to add in some other things, I would add in visualization as far as for the bipolar stuff. But I know that it's really important to make sure that you can do what you can to keep your hormone levels and all that very balanced is if you're bipolar. But then there's like visualization and different things that you can do as well. But it's just important to stay consistent and not like do 5 things that week or the next week and then just do none. And then, you know, even if you're feeling not well, you want to just do something consistently. Like I'm sure you still get up and brush your teeth every day and do that sort of thing. Jordan says, what is the best way to clear energy or protect yourself from negative people when you are around them? Well, Jordan, and it's been a long time. Hi, Jordan. I think that you need to take my class. At some point in time, you need to take my class because that's really important. The best way to clear negative energy is, I've gone over some of this, but I'm going to touch on this a little bit again. And I'm assuming well, you're going to have 2 things going on, because you're going to have like entertainment type stuff going on, and then you're going to have like just, you know, family and friends type stuff going on. So the bubble meditation is really good for stuff like that. If you're talking about friends, family, or being in certain situations, you want to know who affects you in a more adverse reaction, like you're not feeling so awesome around those people or those negative people. If you have like negative people in your circle, in your bubble of people that you kind of hold close to you, you want to figure out who those negative people are. If they're not feeling good about, you know, the negativity they're bringing into your life, you want to buffer, just like I was talking about. You want to sort of give yourself space with those people, realize you're not matching energetically, they're not having a good response on you or a good enhancement in your life, and so you want to put space between you and those people energetically. If you've gone to Walmart, did a hosting thing or something, and you're feeling like crap because there was negative energy around you, the first things that you want to do is water is really good. I know that I've talked about this with you guys before, but jump in the ocean, showers, putting water. Jordan, my favorite trick that I tell everybody, and I don't have a water bottle right here, is you take something cold, a water bottle, a can of soda, anything cold, and you want to put it right here on the back of your neck. That will close your chakras down immediately, and it will allow that energy to not cling. It will allow that to just disperse right away. My most favorite trick ever. If you are out at Alamana or something like that and you're feeling overwhelmed, you can actually go into the bathroom or something, run cold water under your hands and put it on the back of your neck. That really helps. The other thing is putting cold water on your hands. So water is really helpful. Showers, something cold on the back of your neck, water running over your hands, those are really helpful for clearing negative energy. Negative energy does not like water. It can't cling to water. Water clears it. Imagine like you're taking something that's dirty, and I'm trying to think for things, but like taking an item that is dirty with mud or whatever, and you know what it does to, if you run that under, you had a dirty rock or something, you run that underwater, then it does the same to your energy field. It cleans and cleanses your energetic field, and the negative crappy energy cannot stick to it. So that's another thing. Also, if you do showers, or if you can have musky scents in like shower gel, that works really, really well. Some people like to have oils or essential oils. The other thing that works really well, and I'm giving you guys kind of emergency 101 techniques, because you can do the whole saging your house and all that too. But if you have essential oils and you take a drop and you actually put it right here so that you can really smell like sandalwood or whatever musky type oil you have, or you put it on your wrist, that helps clear negative energy. And then you have the things like chocolate that can help ground yourself. So you got your meditations, you got your water, the bubble meditation, specifically water. Incense is very, very effective when clearing negative energy around your being, around your house. So sage, incense, they don't, I guess they do sell sage. They actually sell it somewhere down by that on Ward and Sedona, I think. But sage or incense works wonderfully for clearing energy. But my favorite trick is the water tricks. Shower, ocean, cold water on the back of the neck, cold water on your hands. Hopefully that is helpful. And then there's also some meditations that you can do prior to seeing people, besides the bubble meditation, that can strengthen your energetic field. I do a chi meditation in that class that I'm going to be reopening soon. And it is a powerful meditation. It brings up some really powerful energy that makes it hard for people to penetrate and stick that negative energy to you and around you. And then you want awareness. You want to be aware and avoid everybody who's negative, or just like kind of slip out. Or I'm going to walk over here, or nice talking to you. You want to learn to navigate away from those people. And also, Jordan, make sure you download that Energy Vampires book if you hadn't. It's on keystothespiritworld.com for free right now. Joy says, thank you. You are awesome. Yes, you did answer my question. Thank you so much. Makes sense. Perfect. Tracy said, oh yeah, she put a post for you guys for meditation, and that is a really good one, a blog post. Oh yeah, or podcast, sorry. Susie says, thank you for answering the Energy Vampires question. Distance-wise, we're 3,000 miles and an ocean apart, but even though her text message, I can feel her anger, bitterness, stresses me out the rest of the day. But since we have to be in touch for now, are there any specific meditation or grounding techniques suited to these kinds of... You know, there is, but the best way to handle that is, even if you're 3,000 miles apart, you need to learn to curb your text messages. Don't have ongoing conversations with this person. Make it short, sweet. They will stop probably texting you mostly. So I guess I'm not sure of your situation specifically on why you think you have to have like lots of contact with this person. But rework your mind a little bit and try to figure out, what if I didn't have to have lots of contact? How would it be? Short, quick answers. Do not engage. Okay. So, Sharon, do electronic magnetic fields affect empaths and sensitive? Yes, they do. Same as electronics. And so what can we do about it? A couple of things is you want to steer clear of them as best that you can. If you're near any electronic, well, you know, you can't steer clear of electronic magnetic fields, as I'm thinking about it very often, because like you have so much electronic stuff happening with computers anyways, or just the world today. You want to not sleep with any type of computers or different things with you, around you, your room, that type of thing. You want to take breaks. You want to ground yourself. If you're around some very consistently or often, that's actually what you want to do, because you're not going to avoid being around them. So grounding, and I know that you guys have learned about the grounding techniques. You want to go outside. You want to the water tricks, the sage, all those grounding techniques, and I don't really want to get into them too much, but you want to get in nature is hugely when you're around a lot of electronic stuff, electronic magnetic fields. You want to be in touch, literally hands, feet in nature. That's the type of grounding that you want to do when you're kind of feeling off balance. And yes, it will highly affect empaths and sensitives, if that makes sense. Sharon, I have a hard time. You guys can't see this, but I have like 3 computers in front of me, and I have my iPad that I'm doing this video chat on, and it can greatly affect me, actually. But I keep my energy high, and I stay balanced with the exercise, and I stay grounded with exercise and with nature. And that's the way that I offset, because I do too much work around electronic stuff, if that makes sense. I don't know if that made sense to you, so you might have to answer me. Another question, is it a waste of time to send white light and clear chakras of an atheist? And I also like to pray and ask the angelic realm to help and clear my... just if they're an atheist, let them be an atheist. I mean, unfortunately, you guys should just let those people be who they are. Don't worry so much about who they are. Worry more about... Don't try to save other people unless they're, basically asking for help. But it's okay for people to be atheists. Don't try to change who they are. Concentrate more on who you are and what you can do to help enhance your life. If they're an atheist, let them be an atheist. That doesn't even bother me even a little bit. If I have atheist friends, great. Have another common ground if you enjoy being around them. What their beliefs are shouldn't matter, just like their beliefs in other things in life. Just let them enjoy their life the way they want to, if that makes sense. You can send them energy if you want to, but just let them be who they want to be. Thank you so much. Jordan says, yes, I'll definitely sign up for your next class. I hope so, Jordan, because you could really use that, by the way. Does electronic include the cell phone? Yes, it does, you guys. Everybody's on their cell phone way too much, their computers, etc., etc. You have to do the grounding. You have to do exercising nature. You guys are going to think that I'm just trying to turn you guys into health freaks or something, but I'm really not. It's very important to feeling well. You need to understand, as we spiritually develop, as you guys are learning and developing and growing and becoming a sponge and just really becoming in touch with who you are on a spiritual level, it's all about self-care and keep taking care of yourself to the best of your ability. And in order to balance both of your souls, your soul and your spiritual body, to balance both bodies, you have to do both. It's not necessarily a matter of staying fit and looking like 110 pounds. It's about health spiritually and physically. So yes, it includes cell phone. You still want to be in nature. You still want to be paying attention to how you feel when you're around this stuff and make adjustments. I know this is way out there, but do you have any new info and experience with extraterrestrials? I don't know what you mean about new experiences or whatever, but yes, I have communication with them often through dreams or when I do astral travel and they're around. I don't have as much with them in the physical realm here, except for the one I had 2 years ago. And so there's a lot of communication that you can have with extraterrestrials, not just with seeing them in front of you, but there's a lot of other types of communication through dream state or through spirit type communication. They communicate in the same way. I see them often. I see them often here in Hawaii. It's very, very common. You probably do too, but very common. I see them a lot flying around here. Susie says, my mom and dad just passed, so it's inheritance related. I'm at the point of deciding to keep that, just to give up that inheritance, not to be in touch, but 3 other siblings depend on my involvement with her. Just keep your stuff short and sweet. Don't engage in long conversations, Susie. Just keep everything okay, thanks, fine. If you have to do a long thing yourself, do it. Keep everything short and sweet. Don't give up your side because you need to be involved to make that balance. Patty says, just finished Jennifer's class. I highly recommend everyone take it. So much valuable information. Jennifer's thank you, Patty. You are such a doll. I appreciate it so much. I know you guys have enjoyed it, and that was really nice and kind. You're so sweet. Sharon says, that totally makes sense since I'm a writer and I use a computer. Really appreciate the advice and help. You rock. Thank you. And so you guys know, I don't talk about this, but because I do blog posts, I do the Facebook group, because I do the classes, because I do articles, and then I do my podcast. I do so much online, and I actually run another business. And like I said, I have these 3 computers in front of me. I actually go see a trainer a couple times a week to force myself to exercise, because when I do these things too much, I get very cranky because I'm not grounded. So it's important I do it myself. I practice what I preach to you guys. I'm telling you, it makes a huge, huge difference to exercise and ground yourself when you are around electronics. Huge. Tony says, trying to do self-care and meditation, but the stress is killing me from dealing with increased financial stress, family medical issues, never ends. Any suggestions on letting go? Yes, you need to change your visualization. And Tony, you are in my class. We did that, I think, a little bit on the dreams part, but you need to start shifting your stress to visualizing better outcomes, and it's going to allow you to let go. So just to be a little bit more specific on that, what happens is before people fall asleep, I noticed over the years that mostly people stress about their day, what happened, what is happening in their life currently, what happened that day, what's happening currently, like money situations or whatever. Maybe what happened, you got in an argument with so-and-so, and what's going to happen tomorrow, you're stressed out about work or whatever. So they tend to do that at night. And so I have this exercise that I do with people where I actually get them to shift their visualizing and their stressors that they go through at night right before, when they're sleeping, like right when you lay down to go to sleep and you start winding down and you close your eyes. That's the time that you want to shift your vibration energetically, or your visualization, and shift your vibration. So you want to start, your vibration will begin to raise naturally at night before you go to sleep. So this is why I have people do it while they drift off to sleep, because your vibration starts doing this. And so the law of attraction becomes more powerful at that time. You want to start imagining things resolve. You want to see things resolve and the outcomes become in your favor, if that makes sense. So let's say, for instance, that it's a financial situation that you're worried about. You want to just imagine, pretend, let it be your fantasy world. Let it be your pretend imagination land. But in this pretend imagination land, how would your financial problems be resolved? You don't want to say, okay, I win the lottery. You want to say, I want to feel like something changes and now I have financial security. I want to feel like how good would it feel if I had this much money in the bank? Or how good would it feel if I got an unexpected income? How good does that feel? If it's like a family sickness, how good is it going to feel if that sickness gets resolved? Or in your fantasy world, how does it turn out? The sicknesses are resolved, the finances are handled, they're taken care of. I want you to redo your visualizing, and when you do that, that allows things to let go. It allows you to let go more naturally. And that, you also read my Universal Laws book, and I know you did that, but you have to go back and read that, but that helps you to let go. You visualize outcomes differently, and once you start stressing about it, that is a time to sit down, do a meditation, and shift your visualizing, because the only time that you get stressed is when you're doing this. You're actually putting thought into what's stressing you out. You want to stop it, and you want to redo a different track. You want to redo your imagination land. Imagine how it would be if it was different, if that makes sense. That kind of gets into a whole different Universal Laws thing. So I only have a few more minutes left, you guys. So if you have a question, you better ask it quick. Cynthia says, I was on the radio today, or not, you were on the radio. On the radio today, the DJ was telling fun facts. He stated that when you sleep in a colder room, a person tends to have nightmares. Why would that be? And why would that be when the dream world is when we connect with the spiritual side? I don't know why he would even say that. I don't know what his fun fact was based on, I guess. I sleep in cold rooms because I have an air conditioner, and I don't have nightmares ever. So I don't know. And that's not true. I don't not have nightmares ever. I don't have them often. So I don't agree. I guess that's it. I just don't agree with that at all. Because I know my son sleeps in a room that is like 60 degrees, and he doesn't have nightmares all the time. I just don't agree with that, I guess. Susie says, I second Patty's recommendation for Jennifer's class. I learned so much. She's a great teacher, mentor. Thank you, Susie. You guys are awesome. Do you have suggestions, Robert Nicole, do you have suggestions on how to tell others about the spiritual realm? A friend mentions her child has imaginary friends. Her friend mentioned her child has imaginary friends. Do you suggest telling them about the spiritual realm, or do you feel it's something everyone needs to come upon themselves? It depends. That's a good question. I'm actually going to do a radio show on that soon, Patty, and you'll notice it come up on one of my Facebook pages. But I don't necessarily, well, for me, because I do work all the time in the spiritual realm, they obviously know what I do. I don't really go into that with them unless they approach me, because they obviously know what I do, so that's a little bit different. For someone, if I was in your position and she didn't know if you were interested in that, first of all, you know your friend. Is she open-minded or not open-minded? If you feel like she's open-minded, you may want to say, hey, what do you think about, do you believe in spirit guides? Do you believe in the spiritual realm? Like, what's your belief here? You just may want to ask it lightly, like, what do you think about this kind of stuff? Do you believe in it? Then you can go into a conversation more so about the child's imaginary friends that are not imaginary, by the way. But, just approach it lightly. If you guys want to discuss things with people who you do not know what their belief system is, like I said, you'll usually know, you'll have a feeling if they're open or not open. And if they're open, then approach it lightly. Ask a light question. How do you feel about this? What do you think here? Is this your belief? Something light. Do you believe in spirit guides? Do you believe in angels? Like, just approach it lightly, and if they get into the conversation, you'll know whether to stop or to kind of back off, or you'll know whether they're open to have more of a conversation with you about it. So, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am done for today. I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to ask questions in the group. I love how it's going. Don't forget, I have that psychic ability class opening up again soon. Watch for that link. I know you guys are sponges. I do as much free information as I possibly can for you guys, because I know what it's like if you don't have the funds to continue on. But for those of you who have done all the sponging up you want to, and you want to get more into the nitty gritty, I think that you're going to love, love, love this class. And then I even have more to come. So I have, for those of you who don't know where to go at, don't forget I have the podcasting. I have like 90 some podcasts on Keys to the Spirit World. You can find all of this stuff. I have blog articles. You can always ask me questions that I will answer. Just make sure that everything resonates with you here. Make sure it feels good inside. If it doesn't feel good inside, it's not for you. Disregard the information. So have a wonderful day, and until next time, aloha.